This is a massive box. I'm smiling. Let's see how big this thing is. 4 feet. Based on how big the box is and how obvious the box is dropped off, think about being home when your garden grids are delivered. All right, now it's time to open this. I've got 2 3x8s and 2 4x6s in this box, so I'm feeling a little nervous about opening it up. I am purposefully trying not to stab this utility knife in. That's why I'm getting a finger hold on this and pulling the box up. Hey, well, more cardboard, so that's great. This is really well protected. It probably would not have gotten pierced, but I'm not gonna lie, this is a big purchase. So being careful is a good thing when opening the box, even if there is more cardboard in there. But everything looks really well protected, very well organized. And here are the manifolds. This is a 17-inch manifold, and I also got a 4-inch or a lay flat because this one will be laying flat in an in-ground bed. I'm just going to give you some pictures of the directions because it won't be as effective with me waving it around, but I am reading the directions first and then laying everything out. Each section is clearly marked with stickers A, B, C, and D for this first 3x8.
D.
Yes! Give me a vibe. Yeah! All right. The instructions are very clearly written, but after laying it out, I'm going to read these instructions again just to make sure. I want to point out I am doing this on my driveway. There is no debris in sight. However, I would put a blanket or a sheet, just a simple bed sheet out here so that you're not roughing up the surface of your garden grid. So I'm very aware that I'm doing this on concrete so that you can easily see what I'm doing. And I'm also expecting that I'm going to flip these on the other side. Out here in Arizona, we have the heat, we have the UV that really breaks down a lot of, well, anything that goes outside. So if there's any roughed up surface, I want that to go on the underside. But at the same time, what this material is made out of, it's lasted out here for years in Arizona. Other people have highly recommended it. So that's another reason why I went with this system, knowing how well it holds up to the heat and UV out here. But definitely do not let any debris go inside because these holes are small and I would hate to see them getting clogged up, and you wouldn't really know until you have holes that just aren't functioning. So just make sure that you have the area clear of debris when you're putting these together. I'm noticing it's getting easier to put these pieces together. The sun is warming it up and it's making the plastic easier to work with. So there's a tip, is to work out in the sun, not just for a YouTube video, but because it warms up the material and it's easier, the flexibility is going up, it's easier to stretch. All right, so I'm going to speed this up because no one wants to see me do this for another 10 minutes of putting all these together. So here's the real-time breakdown. That first 3x8 took 3 minutes and 32 seconds. The second 3x8 took 2 minutes and 57 seconds. The first 4x6 took 2 minutes and 16 seconds. And the last 4x6 took 2 minutes and 48 seconds. All times were impacted by video production and a very cute assistant. It still all happened in minutes though. Whew, these are lightweight. I had my assistant help me put the first couple of grids in place. Didn't put the feeder tube on in front of the house, so I'm putting it on after the fact, and I'm keeping the new setup area clean. I'm recycling the cardboard that's intended to protect the grids from my utility knife, but it makes for a clean work area. And then I just have to attach the lay flat manifold, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, we've planted some ahead of time, and I definitely did a measurement every 11 inches. It's not a full foot, it's 11 inches. And I mostly got it right for where they ended up being placed, especially in the 3x8s. On the 4x6 beds, we'll have to adjust some of these plants. As long as your plants are small, it's not too bad. And really, we're going to end up moving some of these just to make sure they're in the middle of the grid. We're going to try our first transplanting. If you have something in place, something like a trellis or a mature plant where you can't just put the grids on, definitely try to see if you can put the grid together in place. And again, try and keep it clean so that you're not throwing the grids around in the dirt. But if you can work it in place, so you don't have to heat up the tubing, which is alternative number 2, is heating up the tubing along the coupling with either a heat gun, a hair dryer. It's like removing a PEX coupling, which you see here, except it doesn't have a ring and the tubing doesn't go clear as it warms up. Try applying heat all around the tube for 30 seconds, then try working the tubing off with the coupling. And if it doesn't work, just reapply the heat, try again, reapply the heat, try again. Be very patient in this process, because the one thing you don't want to do first is to melt the tubing, and then second, you don't want to cut the tubing. This is something that you can work off gently and then put back in place whenever you get it around the object you need to work around. One of the main takeaways here is you can use this system even if you have an established garden and you're looking to improve the watering system you currently have. You can see right here, this is a full 8-foot bed with interior 4x4 posts, and it just fit inside the interior 4x4 posts. Width-wise, I'm a little short on this 3x8 foot bed. I put more dirt than I was planning originally in the first bed. I originally just wanted these to be 12 inches high, and instead I filled it up the entire height so that this bed would work better with the manifold, since this first bed is going to have the manifold which will connect down to the second bed. So I'm not as worried about the second bed because all I have to do is run a hose there. That's definitely something to consider. You're going to need the dirt to fill up your entire raised bed if you're going to use their manifold and connect multiple garden beds that are separate. Now, when it comes to actually connecting your water for the first time, or really any follow-on time, there is a screen on the end right here, and I have a spray bottle or squeeze bottle that I'm using to clean out. I also look at the garden hose. Again, make sure there is no debris on the outside or just having snuck in on the inside. This is probably obvious. It connects to a garden hose. If you have an irrigation system already, you can jump off that system with a garden hose adapter. All right, so here's the moment we've been all waiting for. This is very cool. The grids aren't exactly all positioned. You can see some are up, and all you have to do is rotate them to wherever you want. And the cool thing about this too is you could totally rotate it out if your bed is just a little longer, or if you have a plant that doesn't need as much water, you just turn the grid into the opposite direction. I will have to stop before I go into too many features, which is a follow-on video. There is more information on the garden grids in the description. I will say though that we've really enjoyed watching them run every single time we run them. Also, if you have any questions and I haven't put out this feature video yet, please leave a comment and I will answer them and definitely include them in that video. Thanks for watching.